Hi, everyone. I am so grateful to be here. And I'm always reminded in this month of Thanksgiving in the United States, and there are Thanksgivings that other countries celebrate at other times, but I'm always reminded that one day a year, it's like a national passion to express gratitude and thanks and appreciation. And what we've taken on as our mission, which is so meaningful and exciting to me, is to make it every day, make every day a day of thanksgiving, gratitude, appreciation, and acknowledgement. And eventually we're going to train the world. We will do it. And some of you who have really stepped up to the plate, people like Jim Trella, people like Susan Parente, and others who are not here today. Oh, Angela Brown, yes, you have all become Grateful Leadership Certified Professionals, level ones. And they are able to teach this 1-hour course that I've designed, and they're doing a fantastic job of it. So all of you can do that at some point. But the point is that the word is spreading, the work is taking hold, and it is a behavioral change model that once you practice it, and share it with people, those people, and of course you, are transformed. You just cannot help it. And you can never become untransformed. That's the beauty of this behavioral change model. Anyway, I'm so delighted to welcome a dear friend and colleague, Xavier Joly. I had the honor of meeting him in Hagerstown, Maryland, when he was at Volvo as the head of HR, I believe, and we were just so happy to connect because our people at IIL had worked hard to get Volvo to open its doors. It was a tough sell. It took Chris Gregg was our VP of sales at the time, and he was knocking at that door for 2 years. And I'll never forget the first time I went to Volvo. Everybody came in like this. I have to be here. And yet, I know, Xavier, you remember what happened in the first 20 minutes. And you called it, the way you described it was so perfect. When we were chatting yesterday, there was the before and there was the after. And at the before, they were like this. I have to be here. I'll sit through it. And it was a day-long course, too. So, there was a lot of sitting. But at 20 minutes in, when the after began, somebody popped out of the seat, and he was like waving his hands frantically. And I said, "What is it, Tom?" And he said, "I have to go out there and acknowledge Jeanette. She's the receptionist who's been there for almost 50 years. And I've thanked her for everything she does. She welcomes all our guests from around the world. She finds them lodging. She makes sure they're well fed. She does everything for everybody, but I've never acknowledged her. And I have to do it right now." And suddenly 20 people are out of their seats and they said, "Yeah, we want to go with him." And it was the most amazing thing. I said, "No, Tom will be your representative." And he went out there. I gave him a copy of my book, which I autographed very quickly. And he came back 10 minutes later in tears. He was so moved by her reaction. She said she never knew that her career made a difference. She never knew. Do you realize how close to not ever knowing she came? Because she retired a few months after that. So anyway, that's my long-winded way of saying thank you for that wonderful opportunity, Xavier. And also, minutes after you went to work at Bayer in Lyon, France, I was there with a 2-day course because I know you believe in this work, and I know you are an incredibly grateful leader, a model of it for all of us. So take it. And also, Xavier is very comfortable with something a little different than what we usually do. We usually wait for questions at the end. But if you have a question or something to say, just raise your hand, and Roxy will call on you, or I'll call on you, and he doesn't mind. He's a great conversationalist too. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Jody. Thank you very much to remind me some great moments of life, what I would say. First of all, let me present myself and then we clear out any misunderstanding you may have about the way you pronunciate my first name. This is a French first name, the way it's pronunciated. I can deny about my French accent, despite all my efforts of. So in French, it would be Xavier. In American, it would be Xavier. In Spanish, it would be Javier. In Portuguese, it would be Javier. In the east part of the world, it would be something that I don't even remember, or I'm not even close to. So anything close to that will work out fine with me. So don't worry on the pronunciation, just to make you stress-free. So today I have 20 minutes in front of me where I'm gladly and expect a very fruitful discussion around authentic leadership and grateful leadership and how we can leverage the power of emotions. Because I really believe with leverage emotions, we can re-embark people into another journey and really to take them to another level. So first I will introduce myself just to get to know me a bit better. And this is what I call moment of truth. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have to know me a bit further. And then afterwards, I will walk you through this concept of authentic leadership and grateful leadership that I have embraced a few years ago. And this is something that I'm really passionate about. And I will say that I'm particularly pleased that the Bayer Group I'm getting in now has embraced recently, and we are really on this journey to transforming our leadership and really to play a good balance and to have a good balance on the emotional intelligence versus the intellectual one. And I think this is really important for me, and this is where you make the difference for the people. So who I am, I try to summarize who I am in this slide. So first of all, I'm clearly authentic, and whoever you cross with will tell you that Xavier is Xavier. This is me. I cannot be someone else. I can pretend it. If I try to, I will be not as close as possible to who I am. I'm very much aligned with who I am, and I'm pleased with who I have been developing so far. I'm truly passionate. I think passion is something that helps people to understand that you can make an impact on the people's life. And I would say when you get passionate around a topic, the good thing about that is that you don't even have the feeling that you work. And I can tell you that I've been now working in different industries, different companies, and I guess the life has been passing by very quickly because I got the opportunity to enjoy what I was doing. Something that I have clearly embarked on very quickly, and this is back to my professional sportive background, it's the team element. I'm not a loner at all. This is something that I want to tell you. I will say that if you want to go fast, probably I would advise you to go alone. Because you can do things happening by yourself. If you want to go far, there is a limit on going alone. I would really encourage you to go together. On the top of that, it brings fun. And fun is part of the life. And fun helps you to go through tremendous challenges and really to overcome setbacks that the life may bring. So you can see also the sentence that I try to articulate, to present myself. I really believe, and I will come back on that, as in my HR position, I truly believe that I'm striving for making the difference to our people and cultivating high performance culture. And you will see that in my top 5 strengths. I'm highly competitive, not because I like winning. I really hate losing. This is very important. When I'm losing, I have something in my gut which is not really good. Over time, as I'm aging, I became much better. You can see on the picture that I have 2 boys and I'm married. I have 2 boys, they are 16 and 12. And you know, in early times, even when I was playing with them or playing cards with them, it was really, really hard to lose. And as I'm a good father, I try to be the good dad, I did behave. And now as they are growing up, I start behaving a bit differently. I start making their life a bit more challenging, because they also need to understand that life is not always easy. So this is part of me. So where did I start? I started my education in product supply and marketing. I got a master in marketing and MBA in product supply. So I started my journey working for companies like Hewlett-Packard, HP, or Schneider Electric in the southern eastern parts of France, close to the border between France, Italy, and Switzerland, in a place called Grenoble, in the middle of the Alps, which is a very fantastic place for the ones who like skiing. And very quickly I did join the Volvo organization, the automotive industry, and the Swedish company, where I spent 15 years. I spent 15 amazing years in Volvo, starting my journey in Lyon, in the product supply and procurement organization. And then very quickly we got offered the opportunity with my wife to move up and to change country and to live in Gothenburg in Sweden. So Sweden has been a great learning experience for me, a great journey. This is a fantastic country. This is a stress-free country. I really enjoyed the country very much. We did as a family, not because we got our first baby at the time. It's also because I think Swedish, they do understand how to deal with life. They deal with three values. Family comes first, and family comes first. They are the three values that they are dealing with. And I think this is remarkable, and they do never deviate on those ones. And as I transition to HR later on, one of my takeaways is about the work-life balance. I really believe work-life balance is important, because there is life outside of work, and of course there is a funny life out of work. There are many things to do. And as an HR people, I always encourage people to think about their work-life balance. And I used to tell, you know what? As long as you feel being in a driving seat of your work-life balance, you are in a good spot. If you feel that someone is bugging you here and there, you start deviating. So please always reprioritize things. I think it's really, really, really important. Now, after 3 years in Sweden, we moved as a family to Belgium and spent 5 years in Brussels. And we got our second boy, Adam. And we really enjoyed Belgium. And from a professional perspective, I will say that I was at the time kind of chief of staff of the product supply organization, and this is where I had different responsibilities, and one of them was people development and talent management. And I remember when I did sign the contract, someone told me that someone from HR, probably a person like me, will take over the topic and drive it through. So after a few weeks into the position, it became clear that no one will ever show up. So my boss called me in the morning in his office, and he told me, Xavier, Carlos, he was Brazilian. So I met with HR, and we came to the conclusion that no one from HR is available. So we decided that you're going to be the HR guy. And I said, are you kidding me? That cannot be possible. This is not in my long-term perspective whatsoever or aspiration. He said, yes, you have perfect skill set for it, and we believe that you can make it. I said, no way. And he told me, okay, long story short, it's not up for discussion, this is my decision. You like it or not, you're going to swallow it. I said, oh. So it was probably not a good day for me. If I'm fully transparent with you, I can tell you that it turned to be the best ever decision of my life that I didn't take. And moving into HR, and dealing with people, I always now advise them to think differently, to be open, to listen to opportunities, and to try out. There is nothing that prevents you to try out and to experiment. And then the worst thing that happen is that you may fail. And you know what? You're going to learn from your failures. And this is the best way you can do. So, and moving into HR, I decided if I got to be an HR, if some people believe that I can be an HR, I need to find my purpose. What do I want to achieve? And I believe my purpose in HR is to make the difference to our people. This is what I said into the first sentence. I really truly believe it. And each and every organization I've been leading with, I've been striving my teammates to make this difference for the people. It doesn't have to be a big difference. It has to be, if possible, a positive one. So this is what I've been striving for. After 5 years in Sweden, I got the opportunity with the family to move to Hagerstown, where I met with Judy. I became the HR of the manufacturing plant. And as we talk about authenticity, when you are, for the ones who have been working in manufacturing, you know what I mean. You got guys, you cannot really BS them around. It's no way. They just want to one thing, to make the line running up. And this is the way they behave. And as they were entering, for instance, into the training with Judy, this is right. They were told, you got to be there. No one was exciting to be a grateful leadership. They didn't have a clue of, and they didn't even expect anything about that. They were thinking, okay, this is a full 8 hours day of my time that I'm going to lose. And for the first 20 minutes, they were like that. And I remember I was thinking, wow, shit, excuse my French. It won't work out. Wow, it's going to be a disaster. And then there was this tipping point where one guy said, oh, I need to do something. And then, you know, I think grateful leadership is a way to make the difference for the people, to have a great impact on the people, because you leverage emotions. So I really enjoyed my time in Hagerstown with the family. I stayed there for 2 years. So we moved back to France, and I joined very quickly the Bayer organization. I became the global effort of HR for environmental science. That is a fantastic organization where our purpose is to fostering healthy environments where we all live, work, and play. And I really enjoyed my time there in Lyon for 3 years. More recently, I moved to Germany, in Berlin, discovering the pharmaceutical division of Bayer and becoming the global head of HR for our radiology business. And when you talk about purpose, and purpose of the radiology business is to enhance the diagnosis of our patients and ultimately to have a better treatment. And we all know that when we have an early and good quality diagnosis, we can have a significant impact on the treatment afterwards and on the life of the people. And for someone being passionate like me, I believe that was a very interesting and very insightful and enlightening assignment in Berlin. So more recently, I relocated to the US, where I became the global head of HR for vegetable seeds and environmental science. Those are two businesses that are really fantastic. Vegetable seeds is a new business for me, where we are aiming to advance health and nutrition, and this is really exciting. When we talk about nutrition, being French, I love good quality food. So here you are. So you are connecting my purpose and also with my personal taste. And I really believe with Bayer Vegetable Seeds, we are trying to make the difference and an impact on our society. Now, about my leadership style, you can see that I think what we have today is a perfect setup. We are in a very cozy environment, no ties on. The day you see me with a tie on, at best it will be a scarf. It will be a scarf. And you know, working for the pharmaceutical industry, where people are quite, I would say, for the lack of a better word, I would say a bit snobbish or proud of their industry, it was quite an event for them. So to me, what I want to achieve through the leadership is to put the people at ease, at much ease as possible, in a very comfortable scenario. It doesn't mean that they won't be uncomfortable with the cozy environment, because sometimes you need to stretch them. I just want to be and to play on their strength. And when it comes to the digital advancement, we all know that we go digital, and with these COVID-19 setbacks and huge changes for all of us, I believe we have accelerated our digital area, and I would say from my perspective, it's an ongoing event. And what I would advise us to do is really to keep on learning and to have this learning attitude, to get away from I know it all and moving to something I try to learn more. Because learning all, it's impossible. But you can try. At least I gave up on this one. Nobody is perfect, and on top of that, I believe if you look for perfection, it's probably the robot, and being a robot and dealing with robots is not really funny. I think it's quite not so nice. So I hope that it gave you a bit of further insight on who I am, and I hope that you like what I have said about me. And now let's dig into the authentic leadership and the concept. And I really feel that it's partnering and fitting very much with the grateful leadership. This is really a complementary, and we can really leverage both aspects. So, and before getting there, I will let you reading this sentence. which is really, I think, very insightful, and you get a lot out of it. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I let you reading, I let you digesting this one, because I really believe this is really powerful. When we talk about feedbacks, and I always encourage people to give grateful feedback versus room for improvement feedback. It has to be a good balance. And in the Menti website, you have a question about what does prevent you to give some feedbacks or grateful leadership feedbacks. So please always think about the other way around. What makes you comfortable to give so negative feedbacks? And I guess some people in some cultures, they really like that. They really enjoy it. And because it seems to be much easier for them. What I'm always advising people to is when they are delivering a tough message, a very sensitive message, please pay a special attention on the how. Because people will always remember how you make them feeling at the time, and less the words you are using or what you are telling. Because I would say this is very important. And please try always to put yourself in the shoes of the others, to understand the way they will receive the feedback. And when we look upon the feedback, it's always a question of perspective. Always. It's two people at least looking at the same situation from their angle. And sometimes they look at it differently. They have different perspectives. I really believe that most of the time, if not all the time, people have good intention. I think they have good intention. So we need, and this is the way to give trust to the people. If you start working in a company and you believe that your peers and other people have wrong intention, I will question the intent and the overall purpose of the company. I may be naive, I understand the politics aspect of it, and being yourself help you trusting people. Because this is who you are, and you cannot deny it, whether you like it or not. So now let's move on to authentic leadership. And where does it start? It's first of all, it's forward looking, because it's always there is something forward. I think this is very important. I put a bit of a digital aspect just to make it funny. Believe me, it's quite simple. The first element of authentic leadership is be yourself. And some people will tell me, oh, this is easy. I can be myself. Yeah, I agree. It sounds easy. And I can tell you when I'm embarking the top leaders on this journey of being themselves, very, very quickly they start telling me, oh, it's not that easy, because there is this and there is that, and I cannot do that, I cannot do that, and I cannot be myself there. And you know what? As soon as you start looking for excuses, you start betraying yourself to some extent. I understand that you can adapt yourself here and there, and this is what I will call situational leadership. You need to adapt, considering the given environment, considering the politics. It doesn't mean that you need to betray yourself and tell one thing there and another thing there. You can tell exactly the same thing, a bit differently, paying attention on the how you are delivering the message. Being yourself does also imply that you got to work on yourself, on your own development. Who you are, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your blind spots. And this is a long life journey. And some people at the end of their life, they barely know who they are. And some people even struggle with who they are and they never accept who they are. I will always encourage people to start the journey the earlier is the better, because you start discovering things that you like, you start discovering things that you may unlike. At the end of the day, you can start evolving, and you can, I wouldn't say change, because it's quite difficult to change. You can evolve. And being aware is already a good start to make you evolving. And you can engage people and ask their feedbacks. What do they think about you? What are your strengths? What do you like about me? What don't you like? And of course, I will encourage you to start engaging with the people you trust the most. Because the people you trust the most, they will give you very very nice advices that will help you. And here the feedback will be a gift. So being yourself for me is critical. And by being yourself in a professional context, I will also encourage people to think on their purpose, their professional purpose. What do they stand for? Why are they here? Why is important to answer? It doesn't mean that you have an answer now. Having you engaging into this discussion is important. It's a discussion with yourself. And this is an easy question. Maybe the answer is more challenging and takes a bit of a time. You can also start engaging yourself on your personal purpose. And you know what? At the end of the day, those two purposes can be aligned or they can be different. As long as you are aware of, it helps. It helps figuring out. It helps you moving forward and also being more comfortable with who you are and who you want to project. You know, in the HR activity, we used to talk about talent management and asking people aspirations. And sometimes people, they aspire for something, and I'm always asking the rationale. What does trigger them for those aspirations? What is the rationale? What do they want to achieve? Where do they get the most fun out of their job? And sometimes they realize themselves that their first intuitive aspiration is not the one that will make them much more successful or much happier. And at the end of the day, what is life? I believe life is to make it happy, to make yourself happy and others happy. I think this is what I try to do. As long as and I cannot be happier than today, and hopefully I will be less happier than tomorrow. And this is what I believe. The next element of being yourself is trust yourself and others. And maybe, I don't know if you have some financial guys or we have some financial guys around, and I used to ask this question when we have some financial guys around. How to measure trust? What kind of KPIs do you have to measure trust? Where does the trust come from? From there or from the gut feeling? How do you know if you trust this person? I can tell you that you know who you don't trust, because it comes from your gut feeling. You got out of a discussion and you feel there is something bad. You feel it. Sometimes you don't even know what it is. And you get out and say, wow, I don't know. I don't know. There's something bad. It doesn't mean that when you don't trust someone, it doesn't mean that the other person is bad or has wrong intention. Maybe the other person has different priorities or different ways to think about the situation. So what I would advise you to do is to start engaging the people and asking questions, and not asking questions to answer those ones from your perspective, asking questions to place yourself in the shoes of the others and better understanding. And that will help you to build trust with the others. I also believe that in a normal company, most of the people, and I said that before, have good intention. And I believe this is the first statement that we can all agree upon, and that helps building the trust. The first element of building trust with others is to start with, how do you build trust together? When the first time we meet together, we start building relationships. And the more personal and the more intimate, and you define the intimacy the way you want, the stronger the trust will be. And it's up to you to open up. It's up to you to stay very professional and just to talk about the work, or it's up to you to tell, you know what, I'm married, I have 2 boys, I'm enjoying a nice time in Chicago where I'm living in, and you can start sharing things. And you will see the more you're going to open to others and you define the line of intimacy for you, the more the others will be keen of sharing. At first they may be surprised because they are not used to, and over different cultures it may be a bit of At the end of the day, if you create this environment of coziness and where people feel comfortable, I would say they will give it you back even further, and they will start engaging you. As a leader, I also believe your responsibility, and you have a great, I would say the following. I would say you have a fantastic opportunity to set the weather. You can decide every day that this is a storm, or you can say every day this is a very sunny day around the 90s on the Florida beach, which is really nice, right? It's up to you. You can set the tone of your team, and people will adjust. If it's always stormy, I think they will adjust on the stormy side, and they will start protecting themselves and making some umbrellas, because on the storm situation, you don't know what's going to happen. So I brought this element of trust because this is very important. Ultimately, I believe as a leader, this is coming from your gut feelings, and you got to trust yourself to really move forward. And I think the moving forward part is very important. As a leader, whether you like it or not, you've got to make an impact. And the impact doesn't have to be big all the time. It's important to create a dynamic and to have an impact on people. And here I'm talking about emotions. And grateful leadership and grateful feedback are opportunities for you to leverage on the emotions of the people. And they have to be truly authentic. I'm not asking you, I'm not advising you to give feedback that are not authentic. If they are not authentic, don't do it. Because people will feel it. And they will say, oh, what's wrong with Xavier? There's something wrong with this guy. He wants me, he's telling BS all around. He's telling me that blah, 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 and on the other side, I know that he's saying something else on me. No. Keep being yourself, keep trusting yourself, and when you have something to say about someone, good, please do it. Move forward. Make this impact on these people. And I really believe, and I will keep on mentioning that, it doesn't have to be a big impact. Maybe for you this is a small one. For the others it will be really, really big. Keep in mind the example from Hagerstown with Jody. All of a sudden the guy came back by tears, and I remember the guy. He was not the kind of a guy who was used to cry at work. Not at all. Especially in Hagerstown, in the countryside area. No way. So I wanted to share with you this perspective around authentic leadership. I hope that it opens up some opportunities for you. And now I'd like to somewhat conclude by giving you some examples. I think the perfect one is around the PMP, the PMP certification. And you all know, for the ones who have been into the project management field, this is really a hell of a certification. And some people, when they start going the journey or really studying the possibility to become PMP certified, they think, wow, this is a huge investment. It's going to take me 6 to 12 months investment. It's roughly around 12 months investment. And I remember at the time, and we wanted to create a momentum around people development in Hagerstown, and we had the need to get people embracing this journey and really to work on themselves, being themselves, self-developing, and to take the leadership to another level. And while engaging with our project managers and with their top leaders, the top leaders were thinking, oh yeah, PMP certification, it's lengthy, it's going to take a long time, a lot of energy, lack of focus on the business, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what? We're going to make them certified in 3 months. And I told that. And I can tell you, back on the authentic leadership, I trust myself. I trusted my guts. I have no evidence that we're going to make it. I really trusted, and based on what I knew and I felt this organization and those leaders, I trusted myself and their abilities to step in. And I decided to move forward. And when you start moving forward, as a leader, you start discovering opportunities. And then I started engaging with those leaders and those project managers. And I told them, you know what? We have a challenge now, guys. We promised your leaders that you're going to make it in 3 months. And we're going to make it. And we're going to help you out. And and some of the people were, at first they were like freezing, said, oh, no way, it's impossible. It can't. No, no. And then I started engaging themselves in and asking questions. What makes you worried? And then they started to share what were their true fears. And their true fears were around, what about if I'm failing? What will happen to me if I'm failing? And I was thinking, if you fail, you will learn from it and you will redo it. And that was my answer. Their fears were not about that. Their fears were about, if I'm failing, the company will use it against me and they will let me go. And once we got rid of this false feeling, everybody was embarking on the journey. And I can tell you, we got 20 plus project managers, and in 3 months' time, 95% of them got certified. And the remaining ones, they got certified the second time, few weeks after. So, and coming back and looking back on the grateful leadership and this example, I remember some of the people coming back to me and acknowledging to me that they were pleased to have been embarked into the journey, despite they didn't think that it would be possible. They were not feeling that they had the competencies to make it happen. They were doubting about themselves. They had some fears. They were thanking me about the confidence that I gave to them. They were thanking me about the confidence I gave from them to the leadership team. And more importantly, they also confessed that they learned a lot on themselves, and it made the community of project managers much stronger and much more united, because along the project management certification, you got to make some study work as a group. And that really helped the collaboration and the partnership of those organizations. And I really, it's still in my mind, and I'm sure that those people are still connected in a way or another, and are extremely proud of not having only being PMP certified, to have done it in less than 3 months. Because I think that was also a time record. And maybe I would like now to finalize my presentation on this quote that I really enjoy, and this is the one that I'm always fostering around. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed what I said, and I would be happy to listen any kind of feedbacks you may have or any questions. I used to tell that any questions are possible. Sometimes answers are more difficult. Thank you.
Xavier, this was wonderful, and it's so you being yourself and also being a natural grateful leader. And I just wanted to share with people that you're one of the 11 grateful leaders I profiled in the Grateful Leadership book, and it's a well-deserved profile for sure. And I just want to read one brief excerpt from it, which is what you said. At Volvo's Hagerstown, Maryland facility, I experience a feeling of real gratitude every single day, and I spread it around by spending as much time as I can with my people. I feel that it is my job to empower them, engage them, and raise their self-confidence, and I do this through acknowledgement. This can mean anything from a smile to involving them in the decision-making process, to providing coaching and support, or just simply and truly listening to them. And this is so key. Dedicated active listening is one of the truest forms of acknowledgement because it expresses so much in such a simple act. It is as if you are telling the speaker, you matter. And that's just really so incredibly well expressed. And we can take a couple of questions, but I'm sure that Xavier would be happy to follow up with you if we don't have time for all of your questions, and we'll give you a way to contact him. So who has a question or a comment right now? Where are those hands? Oh, we have, okay, Carol Jean Whittington, did you want to speak? and Jim Trella. So I see, all right, Carol Jean, you want to start? Oh, not hearing you. Not hearing you.
There. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
No. Are you hearing her, Roxy?
Now can you hear me? You can?
Okay, let's take Jim Trella right now, and then.
Okay.
Yes.
Xavier, it was a wonderful presentation. I wasn't raising my hand, but I was applauding.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Oh. Okay. All right, thank you. Then we'll go on to Jim Trella. Jim, take it, Jim. Uh-oh, did we lose Jim?
Yeah, I don't see Jim anymore connected.
Oh, he was here just as, oh no, he's
back.
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
How about now? There we are. Okay, great. Thank you for your patience. Anyway, Xavier, great story. The one about the 90-day PMP is one that I relate every time that I give the level 1 course in the 1 hour. Love that one. It's a great idea. And one of the things that you put into that here that I didn't catch before is the fact that you need to trust. They need to believe that they're doing this not as a way to sift people out, but as a way to lift people up. And that was quite a point. And tell me, how much did you have to work on other people with their confidence in themselves being able to get through the process? Not just whether the company is doing it, but whether they themselves could do it.
Oh, we had to work. I think it wasn't a one-on-one discussion. It was first a group exercise to sell and to embark them along the concept, and then I really spent some significant time with some particular people because you need to give them this confidence in themselves, and it takes time, it takes energy, and it basically, I think this confidence, from my perspective, was already in their own body somewhere. We had just created or tried to create the conditions to unlock this confidence or this lack of confidence, to make them really expressing and being free and really moving forward. And it took a bit of a time, it took a bit of energy. What you need to understand as a leader, it's important to stick and to stick to the agenda of the people you have in front of you, and really to understand where the fears are coming from and how you can help them out. And most of the time, because we are talking about very experienced and professional people, most of the time, those levels you need to unlock them around. It's going through the discussion, and by asking those questions and letting them reflecting on where they are and where they stand and what might potentially block them, you I will say at the point of time they said, "Oh, you were right," and at the end of the day, you don't really provide them any solution. You just ask open-ended question, and they just realize it. You help them going through the solutions by themselves through your coaching posture. And I think this is important to place yourself in those occasions as a coach. And that's critical to make the changes happening. You're welcome.
Yes. By the way, Xavier, Jim Trella is the person who launched 3.5 years ago, the Art of Grateful Leadership podcast. He did it for 3 shares every single week. And then after that period, he said it was time for him to step down, and I took over. And boy, is that a lot of work. But I can see now you are going to be a guest on one of my podcasts. So this is so great. We want to be able to take more time with you, and that's a great way to do it. Okay, I'm afraid we have to go on. If we, I see that Hillary and Sylvie both have questions. If we have time at the end, we'd love to hear more.
Sure.
You can stay with us, Xavier. Good. Okay.
Hillary.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we can do a round of applause. Let's see if the little guy with his hand raised up on the right corner of those icons. You see applause. I don't think it makes. We can all give you our applause.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. I wish we had another hour, but okay. So we're going to go through just the wonderful member contributions, and
Judy, can you hear me?
I am going to take the liberty of just doing this podcast first,
Sylvie,
because I see that we have Toby Newman with us. I believe that's Toby. Wait, where did he go? Is he still there? I thought. Yes. I know. We just don't have time. I'm so sorry. Yeah, and as I said, we will do it at the end. We'll take questions at the end if we can, but I don't want to, not take the time to show our other members' wonderful contributions. So I'm afraid we can, I'm sure that Xavier would be very happy to answer those for you in an email afterwards. We can give him your email addresses. So, okay, well, I want to just play a little bit of an excerpt from the podcast. I have to thank Toby Newman, who is here today. He invited me through the actual connection of Jennifer Sabine, our head of IIL France, and I did a Spark session with Toby last week. And Spark sessions are designed to feed people's curiosity. And I did a Grateful Leadership Spark session. It was so wonderfully engaging. I just loved it. So, Toby, thank you for being here. He had a conflict with getting his baby to bed. It was his job to put the baby to bed tonight.
Wonderful. And
so, he just popped in here, but we're going to just play a little bit of this podcast.
With, and I think
he brings up something. I think he's a true grateful leader as well.
Online in your LinkedIn profile, I noticed this is my goal has always been, if I can help one person develop, then I can go home happy.
Yeah.
If I can help a company develop and be ready for whatever is to come, then even better, with a big smiley face. So that, I think that's just so generous of you, and that's an acknowledgement, helping people, letting people know they're worth it. What, I'm sorry, what was that?
It goes back to the Spark sessions, as in that they're not mandatory. They're not designed to train everybody in our company, but the fact that one or two people take the time out of their day to not only attend it, not only kind of like it, but then send me messages saying, "Oh, this is really great. Thank you much for setting it up." To me, that's like, I don't care if 300,000 people don't like it. Is if that one or two people like it and that's changed them, then that's made my day.
That's beautiful. And we had 81 at our session. I just happened to notice that.
Minimum, yeah. It fluctuated. I think we went up to about 90, 100 at one point. But then when we do the video, we get over a couple of thousand hits on this video.
Wow.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
anyway, Toby, you want to say a quick word or two? We're happy to have you here today. I don't know if you have a microphone that's in working order. This is kind of spontaneous, but if not, you will hear Toby's complete podcast on Monday, this coming Monday. This was a sneak preview, and I think you will love it. And I love the accents that we hear, the French accent, the British accent. I love all accents. So thank you for giving us our international audience. Now I want to just show our wonderful acrostic writer, Harry Waldron. Every month he does this beautiful acrostic. He takes the phrase that he feels is right for the month, thankful hearts. And this one relates to the American Thanksgiving, but then he comes up with just a line or two. Thankful people count their many blessings, even in a difficult year like 2020. Hold fast to the best practices of grateful leadership and grow as a leader. He finds so many creative ways to talk about grateful leadership. I just look forward to it each year. And then he gives a little history. So all of these contributions are going to be uploaded to the CGL website, the Center for Grateful Leadership website. So please do check them out. And then we have, let's see, I'm trying to get the next one, Roxy, the Gratitude Connection. Can you get it? Okay, and this is by Donald Officer. He is an expert in positive psychology, and he calls himself the Intention Coach. And every month he does an article connecting grateful leadership to some other discipline, some other science, some other book or thought leader, and it's just amazing what he comes up with. So this month his article is, let's see, it's proving why what never happens doesn't.
Well, I'll try to keep it
that's
60
an enigmatic title. Proving why what never happens.
No, it's okay.
And Don, you want to
Heath,
give
with
a
the help of his brother
1 minute
Chip,
chat about
written
this?
a whole series of great books about very practical things that really help you in any kind of leadership or decision-making role or any of the things we all struggle with, whether in the workplace or at home or with our teams, whatever, in a social life. And this one is about how much better it is if you can solve the problem before it happens. In other words, go upstream. And he bases it on a story about these guys who are pulling children out of a raging torrent, and they just keep coming down one after the other, and they have to keep rushing out and saving their lives. And it's heroic work, and one of them says, I'm going upstream. He said, why? He said, I want to see who's throwing these kids in the water. And that's something that people don't always or even normally or even immediately think of, right? That's where you can really do the most good. Don't we see that sadly all over the world now with the resurgence of this terrible epidemic? If only we had done so many things to stop it in its tracks early on. That would have been going upstream. Excuse me, I got it. Okay, that's a phone. Anyway, the thing is, it's such a simple thing to do, and it just ties so closely with grateful leadership, because this is a way of intensifying, deepening your gratitude. Even the slogan that Javier was talking about, that parable, that old saying from Africa, going upstream is going far, not fast. You go fast when you have to fix things in a hurry. But when you anticipate what's going to happen and go the right way, that's when you go upstream. And all it takes is thinking about things. And by the way, you get to know people. You get to know what you're really showing your gratitude for. And I think one of the problems is that in this world, so many people do amazing work, but it isn't visible. It's behind the scenes. But it's so important. And that's a way of extending your gratitude, your grateful leadership. That'll be it in a nutshell.
That's beautiful, Don. And
Okay.
it's a very readable, quick-paced article. I urge everyone to check it out. Within 48 hours, everything will be up on the Center for Grateful Leadership website. And then we have a wonderful series of articles that our own Roxy Nevin writes about grateful parenting.
Absolutely.
And in this one,
She
talks about gratitude, nature versus nurture. So, Roxy, can you give us a 60-second spin on this?
I've actually been working on this one for a while, doing some research behind the science of positivity and how it affects our brain, and the science of gratitude and whether it's nature versus nurture. And as it turns out, there's a whole lot of disagreement out there. There's a whole lot of definitive articles out there in journals out there that have ways of, just saying it's definitively one or the other. And it doesn't seem like that many people agree. But the few studies that are out there, show that it's a decent mix of each of the different elements and variants, as in, part of it is genetic and part of it is learned and part of it is part of our environment. And so it just kind of glances at the little bits of all of those aspects and shows links to a lot of other articles about those concepts and the studies behind them. So it's the brain and how it works, as you know, is something that fascinates me. So I want to expand on this topic in particular and do a little bit more in-depth research and writing on this. And as we spoke today, Judy, and I are going to look at doing some more research behind this and other topics that have to do with grateful leadership. So.
Yes, thank you, Roxy. And what's great about her articles is that she really lives them. And so she'll give you examples from her own family of what she's done and how she increases gratitude by increasing awareness of gratitude and what it can be and do out in the world and in one's own family. And I wanted to also mention that we have Hillary Kinney with us today. She is a speaker on IIL's International Project Management Day conference, which is still up and running, and you're all invited to check it out. And she did a wonderful presentation on project management and parenting, and she's in the process of writing
Thank
a
you
book
so
now
much.
on
And
that,
Judy,
and
you
she says a
encouraged me
great
to write
article.
it. So gratitude to Judy for
Hillary, thank you
motivating
for
me
being
and
here
encouraging
today.
me to move forward on this journey.
Expecting great things from you and look forward to your book. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, so now we have Carol Jean Whittington, who's the new contributor, and she's very courageously come forth to talk about the effect of the power of acknowledgement on one late identified autistic's life, and she happens to be that one late identified autistic, very publicly
Most of you
declared, and
have
she's an autism
neurodiverse
advocate.
employees,
Jean, you have
and
30
seeing
seconds.
how acknowledgement
We're
can affect and change someone's life who sees the world in a very different way, I think will hopefully help you better understand and connect with that very unique area of your workforce, as it has definitely impacted mine.
That's brilliant. And her article is really so specific, and her mission is so specific. There are more and more people out there these days. We had a speaker, Brandon Vargas, who he was with Red Hat, and his mission was to make neurodiverse people who are on the autism scale or even something different from it, like depression, make them comfortable and valuable, feeling valued and appreciated. So this is a new movement, and I know you're at the helm of it. So thank you for doing that. It opens all of our minds. And please read her article as well. And then, Roxy, did you want to talk a little bit about the Power of Acknowledgement course that we are doing? That's part of IPM Day.
Absolutely.
It's a 6-hour
and you can go
course
to
that
our
you get
social
free
media and
by
see
paying
different
the
video
big
clips
fee of $59
all
for
of
26
different
hours of
presentations from
programming
IPM
for
Day.
90
Like
days.
Judy said,
So, Roxy, you want to say anything about it?
$59. We are giving you guys a $10 discount. Just register at IIL.com and use the promo code CGL members at checkout, and that will reduce your price to $0. Or I'm sorry, it will reduce your price by $10, and then you can enter in the platform for the conference. And then once you're in there, you'll download a document that tells you how to attend, how to register for the free courses, and then the Power of Acknowledgement is one of the 2 free courses that are given away with IPM Day. And so this course is brand new, a course that Judy developed just recently. It is 6 hours, so it includes 6 PDUs. And for those of you with certifications in for project management, and then there, a lot of different updates and new information that you have definitely not seen before in any of the previous classes. So sign up for IPM Day and you can get that class for free, and it's definitely worth it.
Thank you, Roxy. And I really feel it's the synthesis of all my work. And I put my heart and my soul and my spirit into it, as I always do. But I hope it will really make a difference to people. And the last thing, and our apologies for running quite seriously over today, but we do want to do a quick survey with you. And Roxy, do you want to share also the results of the word cloud? You want to do that first? Okay, all right. So our thanks for being here. It's always a joy to have you here. And I would like to do a very quick poll with those of you who are still here. December is a month of celebration, hopefully, and it generally is. So I was thinking we might want to try something special in December, but I want to know if you'd rather have a typically wonderful guest presenter like we had today with Xavier Joly. Thank you again, Xavier. Or would we want to have our own Grateful Leadership Showcase featuring creative member contributions? And that's not to say that all the contributions we generally get are not creative. They certainly are, but a different kind of creativity. If you want to step forward and, read an acknowledgement poem that you've written, as I've been told somebody might do, or I have a volunteer to read one of the stories. She's a professional storyteller, and she'll read the story called Cupcake for Hector from the Power of Acknowledgement for Kids, which people have told me is their favorite story in the whole book. It'll be a combination of things. So anybody, first of all, take the poll, and then anybody who wants to contribute something that's a little out of the ordinary creative, we would love to hear from you. And so let's see, it's looking like it's 50-50. We need a couple of tiebreakers here. There are 2 people remaining. I don't know if my vote counts, but I think I'm ready for a change. Just for 1 month, for the month of, next month. And I also would plan my not so creative contribution, but I will teach a brief segment on the distinction between recognition and acknowledgement, in that little class, in that session of creativity, because I think that's one of the most creative things that I accidentally stumbled upon, and people say is the biggest takeaway that they get. Well, I'm not going to break the tie. I'm not the tiebreaker, so we need one more vote either way.
Looks like it's now 6-3.
If not, Roxy and I will kick it around and we'll figure it out. Now, what? 67:30. Oh, okay. Typical webinar. All right. Oh, I think I voted for the wrong one. I meant this one. I meant the other one. My vote went to the wrong place. But anyway, so this is a very interesting, and we're going to wrap up on this note, but this is the word cloud. And the greatest number of people that volunteered an answer, you can see it leaps out at you. Time, fear, and vulnerability are the biggest reasons that people stop themselves from acknowledging people in a heartfelt and authentic way. So time, I don't have enough time. Fear, I'm afraid of their reaction. I'm afraid of my reaction. And vulnerability is something that, we all fear at times, but it's the key, as Brene Brown says, to joy and connection and belonging. So the other ones are great too. If we had more time, we would look at them. And maybe we'll do this again when we have time to go through it at the top.
You do not follow
Roxy, anything in closing?
You can go to Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and find us. And we can start posting questions like this to our followers, maybe once a week or something like that, with a new question, and create these word clouds and the different. There's quite a few different tools within the Minty platform. So yeah, we can do some of this. So follow us on social media would be my closing statement.
Wonderful idea. Yeah. Okay, and also, Xavier, thank you so much for answering people's questions in the chat. Your answers were really fantastic, Roxy. I'd like you, if you can, to copy and paste the chat so that you and we can do something with it, because the questions were great and the responses were great. So thank you for making the most of our time together. And I know we'll be doing other things together. I'm sure of it. And I know it took me a year to get you here, but after this will be a piece of
it. Thank you very much. Thank you for the invite. I really enjoyed the discussion. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. All right, everybody. We will see you in December, and I'm not sure these results are definitive. We may want to do a larger poll to our Center for Grateful Leadership body to see what they would like.
We'll send you a recap.
One way or another,
if you're not already signed up as a member of the Center for Grateful Leadership, go ahead and sign up so that you can get the recap of our webinar today, which will include links to all of the articles that you've seen featured.
Beautiful. Thank you, Roxy, as always.